And a lot of people in the city believed in the man that Deion Sanders was. Now, I don't know the man, so I won't judge it. But the Coach Prime shit is a gimmick, and I've been feeling that way from the start.
We here, nigga. Realest niggas by landslide. Show enough, I'm about to blow up, cause I'm tired of walking around landmines. Rap savior, hellraiser, don't worry, nigga, I claim both. One nigga that's unsigned, that's off the chain go.
Coach Prime gone. It's only right. It's a podcast. Of course we gotta talk about it. But first, we got some things to address. A clip that went viral with my boy James over here to the left. We gonna play the clip, and we gonna ask James, you know, what he meant by it, and we gonna just dive into all this Deion Primetime Sanders talk. So I'm gonna play the clip. We're gonna go from there.
Well, I think he here to boost his resume and his family name, and Jackson State is just a vehicle to do that. Not just Jackson State, HBCUs, period. And I think we being sold out by Deion Sanders, and we look like real coons. I think 5 or 10 years from now, when he's gone, we're going to look back on this like, damn, we were cooning.
All right. That's the clip. James.
Strong words.
They been tearing your ass up in the comments, man.
Words.
What you want to say about it, man?
Man, I ain't going to say I told you so, because me saying I told you so would be like, it would mean I believed. I never believed. I never believed in Deion Sanders. I never believed in the message that he was preaching, because I always believed that it was just something that he was doing to get the people on his side. And, you know, a lot of people have a lot of negativity to say about Jackson State, the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, HBCUs, period. But those people, a lot of them, honestly, ain't stepped foot on the HBCU campus, you know, to be real. And a lot of them just, you know, it show what type of people we got out here, who only look for what somebody could do for them and not look at what the intentions is somebody has when they're doing something for you, or look at a mutual beneficial relationship. So I just really felt like he was here because Money Jones said it best. He didn't want to be an assistant to a head coach, so he looked for somewhere where he could be a head coach and get his feet wet to get to the jobs or get to the level that he really wanted, was Power 5. So Jackson State gave him that. And I'm going to open it up with this. So we all know Deion Sanders is a sports icon. Nobody here would disagree with that.
Facts.
He need to be thanking Jackson State, HBCUs, the SWAC, the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, from taking him and his son from a sports icon to a cultural icon. Because that's what he was on the verge of doing. But he messed it up being short-sighted and short-minded.
So hold on, before we dive into that, with the comment, you used a word that triggers niggas, which is cooning. What did you mean by that?
What I mean by that is you're using black people to step on to get to a level of superiority, or to get, basically, you're using black people to get to a white platform. I can't even say it no other way.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could say it.
All right, so let's go from there.
All right, I'm gonna comment on what you said. A lot of that stuff, a lot of comments you just made, you know, have some merit to it. So I'm not gonna dismiss it as, oh, he just talking crazy like some people did months ago. However, I will, you know, kind of dive into my perspective and the whole Deion Sanders situation. With
Hey, Detroit, talk your shit, man.
I am. I got this. All right, so let's start with cooning. So we'll start there because that's what triggered a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, cooning is when you selling out black people to benefit other people, namely white people in a lot of sense. Deion didn't do that. Deion, he did use black people. I'm not saying he didn't, but he used it to benefit himself. Deion is more of an egotistic person where he gonna think of himself first. The only problem I had with Deion is that his initial reason for coming to HBCUs was to save HBCUs. That's the only issue I had, because I looked across the landscape of college football, and coaches leaving situations or programs prematurely is not nothing new. Lincoln Riley left OU, went to USC. Lane Kiffin promised Tennessee they was gonna beat Alabama. He left Tennessee within 2 years to go. Then he go back to Alabama as a coordinator. He went to.
He came from the Raiders, I think, to Tennessee, and he left Tennessee within 1 year to go to USC.
USC.
Yeah.
Then he went back to Alabama as a coordinator.
OC.
Right.
Then
So
got the Mississippi State job on.
Jimbo Fisher
Not Ole Miss.
was
Now he got FAMU then.
Yeah, FIU. Then FIU, one of them.
Jimbo Fisher was groomed for Florida State and left Florida State within 3 years after having the head coaching job. So looking across the landscape of college football, this is not nothing new about coaches switching programs or saying something to a fan base to get them riled up and things like that, but leaving the fan base kind of short. I also watched that Bahani Jones clip as well. It's on CNN. It's very good. And one of the things that he, said is that he didn't fault Deion for leaving either. But don't give the wrong message like you're coming to do something that you know it's not a 2, 3, 4 year plan. This is more of he preached and this is the words of Mr. Jones on CNN. He preached a 5-10 year plan, but his plan was only year to year. Now, I'm not saying I know all the circumstances and every reason why Deion left. I can't tell you if it's financial. I've heard some things about being financial. I heard some reasons the school was stealing money. I heard a lot of things. I don't know what's true and what's not true, so I'm not going to dive into that. But we do know that what he was bringing to HBCUs is kind of hard to replicate. But I'm not gonna say it's not a blueprint that can't be followed. It's just very hard to follow. He brought one of my good friends, Gary Taylor, made a point recently. He said he drove a car. He took Jackson State, FAMU, to Texas Southern, Tennessee State. He took all these HBCUs and put them in the car and drove them to the destination. He dropped them off and then he left. So once they get to the destination, they don't know how to progress further than what Deion was doing.
So basically, he flew them out. Like
they
got flued out, and with no return ticket.
I'm trying to tell you.
So what?
Trying to tell you.
I want to let Josh get in before I go.
Yeah. Get ahead, Josh.
Get on here.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say the bad, good, and I'm gonna say my reason why I feel like he left. I'm gonna say the bad because if he would have came in and just been like, hey, I'm gonna change Jackson State and then find something better. Because me and Brian, you had the conversation. We thought he was really doing to go back to Florida State where his hometown.
Florida State, yeah.
So I was like, okay with that. Because I really want to see him like ACC, SEC, something like that. I feel like he could dominate. But when you start bringing up certain stuff like nobody been drafted in 2020 from the HBCU, you talking more now. It ain't no 1 or 2 plans. You talking 5 to 10. So it's like, oh man, we behind you. You bringing scouts to the school, and you not just doing it for Jackson State. You going to other SWAC schools and bringing them there too, saying, hey man, look at these players. You got Travis Hunter to come because you like, hey look, instead of going to A schools, come here. You can get the same exposure and you can get drafted. Right. So it's like, okay, we feel you, but then you turn around and lead to Colorado. It's like, hold up, I think that's what left the bad salt in it. Right. All right, the good, he 2 back-to-back SWAC championships.
Facts.
I think he gonna win. I hope he win the Celebration Bowl. Cause I don't think who the only one in the SWAC was Grambling.
Grambling on the school.
Yeah. So we win it. That'd be even better for us.
Yeah.
Play some North Carolina State, don't we?
Yeah.
North Carolina Central.
North Central.
CCU.
First undefeated. Well, if he win, it'd be the first undefeated season. Mm-hmm. You brought college game day. You bring a better facility for the school. Yeah. Players.
Revenue to the city.
Revenue to the city. 1 year, first year, $1 million, then this year might have been, 6?
They talking $30 million. That's what they saying.
I mean, I can believe it, though. Because, I mean, I saw on the news, we had home games. The hotels were sold out.
Yeah. So, I work at a hotel, and I'm going to tell you they were sold out.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, it's a lot of good behind it. Now, the reason why I feel like he left, I think his son, he trying to get him high start draft.
All right, pause right there. Let me play a clip. I want to play a clip because
Zay,
my boy Zay, he said it. I So if y'all not following Jacktown Classics, that's
Jacktown Classic.
That's Zay, James, and Clyde podcast. And I'm gonna play a clip from there because Zay had the similar theory to you about his son.
One theory is he's trying to get Shador. He's trying to raise Shador draft stock.
Yeah.
So you come to Jackson State, he ball out, win 2 titles, blah blah blah. Now, but the gripe is gonna be, well, he was playing in the SWAC. He was playing against lower talent, lower level competition and all of that shit. So now you go to Colorado, Power 5 school, bottom school in the Pac-12, but you know, if you go and make some noise, it raises his stock to get him ready for the NFL. Probably not gonna be after 1 year. He might play his junior and senior year.
Yeah.
But still, you know, the first year you building, second year you maybe third or fourth place in the Pac-12. You know, you gonna, and you get the numbers up. You know, you'll be all right.
So that's pretty much the clip. So dive into that thing, Josh.
I mean, because I feel like he had 37 touchdowns, like 8 interceptions.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
And the Heisman Trophy winner, well, potentially, with the one from USC, he only had like, 44 total. So, I mean, you ain't that far off. But yet, he ain't being mentioned. So I think that's kind of, you're going to go into the Pac-12 and he do that same thing and win, I think it'd be a different, because now he's like, oh, you can play with this level now. I think that's one of the reasons why he left. I think also lack of resources. You know, like, we don't have the same resources at Colorado and other schools like that. So I feel like, you know, him putting half his salary to help the school out, I think that was a great thing. But I think he probably was tired of it. Because, I mean, everybody don't want to just put their salary into, you know, a program, which I get it. I see why he did it, because it's like, I actually care for the guys. But I think he probably, it might be some stuff behind doors that we don't know. But I think that was kind of some of the reason why he left, too. Then, you know, you're hearing about them stealing and all that back and forth. I think that played a part, too. Because technically, his contract was up. He got another year on it. And now he got to owe them $300 instead of playing.
$300,000, yep.
And then you left, and Colorado don't even have the money. Right. So, like, it's kind of like fishy. Like, I don't know. But I'm going to say something, too. I feel like him going there, he made a point on a press conference. He said, I seen 4 black coaches get fired, and, like, I'm the only one got hired. So I feel like that's a problem. Now, I do see that part. I understand that, because we do need to have more coaches, especially in the SEC and all that, and we're not seeing it. So I do see that part of it, too.
I got a theory on that, though.
It's where you went.
I mean,
it goes back to where you went. Where you went, that wasn't a problem.
What do you mean?
Shit, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 coaches, he the third coach in a row at Colorado's that's been black.
I mean, they suck, man. The culture in Colorado is terrible.
But they are not immune to hiring black coaches at that particular school. You didn't break no barrier going there.
You might didn't break no barrier at that school, but if he becomes successful, it can break barriers to where we can start looking at black coaches more.
How much of a barrier do it break when you're Deion Sanders? But
the spotlight gonna be on him, though.
That's what I'm saying. How much of a barrier does Deion Sanders break as to oppose a coach?
I think James pretty much saying, like, will Deion having a successful career at Colorado make a case for other black coaches? I don't think it makes a case for other black coaches because they're not Deion. This is more of a Deion thing than a black coach thing.
That's what I'm getting at. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
I mean, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We can see that. But
I want to piggyback to something you said real quick about Coonan and him using the message to benefit white people. If he take them players with him, he using this shit to benefit white people.
Okay.
If you take,
I want to play another clip.
Okay.
So, this from James Them Podcast, Jacktown Classics. Y'all go follow that on YouTube. So, this was James' opening statement in the podcast. I think it moved me a little bit. It was a little powerful, you know what I'm saying? But let's hear my nigga James talk.
A lot of people in this city believed in Coach Prime. And a lot of people in the city believed in the man that Deion Sanders was. Now, I don't know the man, so I won't judge it. but the Coach Prime shit is a gimmick. And I've been feeling that way from the start. And so all y'all calling me a hater or calling me a crab in a barrel, you can say what you want to say, but you wouldn't want nobody to shuck and jive your children. You wouldn't want nobody to shuck and jive you. All y'all talking about leaving for the money. But at the same time, until the NIL, your child who is a student athlete doesn't make any money. So that shit don't mean nothing to them. They came to play for a particular coach, and coaches leave every day. But coaches don't use God every day. Coaches don't say they're here to help a program do a particular thing every day. A coach is just what it is. NCAA is a business, so it's looked at as that. But he made it more than that. So I made it more than that too, nigga.
All right.
First off, let me respond to what you said. Then I'm gonna respond to the clip. In terms of players leaving, players coming, the transfer portal, players leaving Jackson State to potentially go to Colorado, you can say, yeah, it can benefit white people, but it also can benefit them as well if they are able to continue to get groomed by Coach Sanders and then potentially going to the NFL. So it's like a mutual,
Everybody mutually benefit.
Yeah, mutually benefit. That's what I'm trying to say. So in that regard, I want to lead that into this. Prime and Jackson State mutually benefited from each other. We got 2 SWAC championships, and even what you said, it restored the faith or the enthusiasm around HBCUs and Jackson State football, because for years it was down, and that just due to us not performing like we know we're capable of performing. And Deion got what he wanted. He got the experience, like you said. He got that head coaching position. And he was able, I'm not going to say he was able to transform the program, but he was able to elevate it. Unfortunately, I figured Deion was not going to be here no longer than 5 years. Yeah. We talked about that the moment he got hired. 5 years was the window. No greater than that. He left in 2.5. So, I mean, he delivered on the championships. He went on to Colorado for whatever reason. Jackson State football, but I will say this: he did lead. He left us with a sour taste in our mouth. The fans, the media, and stuff like that. But if anyone watched the press conference he had with the players at the team meeting, he instructed the AD who he wanted to take over, which is Coach Taylor, who's everybody approves of Coach T.C. Taylor.
Should definitely be the next coach.
So Deion said, hey, I want him to be the next coach. I'm already making steps for him to be the next coach. He also instructed Under Armour to keep the plan they have in place, the contract for the jerseys and equipment and stuff like that. We keep the facilities. So Jackson State is still, I believe, under Taylor, is still set up to have 5-10 years of dominance if we can continue, supporting like we did when Prime was here. The only difference I could see is recruiting. I don't know how well of a recruiter Taylor is. I don't know if he can go out there and get players like Travis Hunter, like Prime was able to. But no,
I'm just gonna go on a limb and say he can't.
Yeah, I mean, even if he can't, but he's a hell of a coach.
He don't need to.
Yeah,
I mean, he gets some 4 stars though.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets
3 stars.
The thing about it is HBCUs have to start investing and trying for these players. It's been a lot of times they see a 5-star player, they don't even try for him.
They don't look.
I got a question.
They don't even look.
I got a question because I don't know much about it.
Go ahead.
Would you try for something you don't have a chance for? But the reason I asked it, because let's just say I apply for a job in engineering, but I have no engineering experience. That's a waste of my time and whatever money I spent applying for that job. So I feel like HBUs feel the same way about 5-star recruits. Why waste my time when I can use this time and energy to someone that actually want to be here? That's like trying to get a girl and she don't want you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So that's my theory.
I get what you're saying, but when it comes to college football, it's different. Like, you can sway a kid's mind way quicker than you can sway an employer. So you reach out to these kids. This is what major programs do. They reach out. They follow these kids from elementary up. Middle school, they reaching out to them. High school, they reaching out to them, and then eventually junior, senior year, they sending scouts and stuff like that. These programs, these high school programs, have filter systems where they're sending kids to certain locations based off nothing but connections. And we don't even want to have a conversation. You can pick up a phone and make a phone call and just see. I was talking to a good friend of mine on the Xbox. I was talking to Green on the Xbox. Green went to Arkansas, even University of Arkansas, right?
I hope Green see this because I don't fuck with Green. But go ahead. It's all love though. I love playing with you in pro-am.
After you finish, I got
he went to University of Arkansas. He said the only reason he went to University of Arkansas because that was the very first school that reached out to him. He was a ninth grader. He was the very first school that reached out to him. So if we can,
One question.
and I'm talking about, I'm not saying it has. To
I
be
got a
all
question
over.
though. Is
Okay.
what was like if you had to put a star on his recruitment level, what would it be?
But he told me it was a 4-star, so I can only go by what he told me.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it can't. I'm not saying it's all over the country, but regionally, the South, like you can potentially get some of these players if you just try. But go ahead, James.
to go to the point I made the last hour video. One of the biggest points I made is what you just said. If he don't, meaning Dion, I'm done calling a nigga prime. Because one of the things I do want to get into is what led me to my conclusion about him.
Okay.
And but one of the things was I said in that last video was he has to recruit in state and in a 300-mile radius. Whether it's a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, 2-star. Because one of the things it does is it builds relationships. Those relationships stand a chance to last. We don't have the budget that Colorado and the rest of these schools gonna have. But I'd be damned if I'm a coach if I can't gas up my car and drive somewhere and drive back in the same day. If you mean to tell me I can't recruit you. So going to your point of what you were saying.
I agree.
So when you ignore that and you go to Florida, damn Florida. We don't got to recruit out of Florida.
Right.
For what? We're in a 300-mile radius of the whole state of Mississippi, damn near the whole state of Louisiana and Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee. Atlanta is not in a 300-mile radius, but it ain't too far off.
Right.
East Texas, Houston, and Dallas area ain't too far off.
Right.
All the people in Jackson State from Chicago. Your boy from Detroit, Sauce Gardner from Detroit.
Yep.
Who's the hell to say we can't convince somebody who wants to go to Cincinnati to come experience the HBCU culture?
Yep.
But this wasn't his plan. He had no plan.
I agree.
You shucked and you jived.
I agree with that.
He had a plan. It was just for
It's
himself.
for himself.
Yeah, I can say he had a plan there.
Yeah, it was for himself. But that's the plan that should be in place for like Coach Taylor. Why not do that?
And I believe Coach Taylor can. My only concerns is that, I feel like we have to be behind Coach Taylor like we was behind Dion.
And that's a big question I got because I'm looking and I'm seeing people talking about going after Mike Minter and Cam Newton. Man, fuck them people.
Because they don't know no better.
It's time to get back. If what people saying is they truly believe about Prime elevating the program, okay, TC Taylor went to Jackson State alum, not just any Jackson State alum. He set records. He's an experienced coach on the collegiate level. Mm-hmm. He's been in the program for 5 years. He's been a coordinator. He's paid his dues.
Yep.
Damn, what more you want him of? If not him, then Coach Dancy from Valley.
No,
not
nobody
All right,
else.
So the reason I think they
Taylor.
saying Cam Newton and them guys, is the exposure of who they know, their resources. Like Primetime brought his resources to Jackson State. Yeah. So I feel like that's why they kind of
He ain't prime time. Nobody's prime time.
Nobody's
Let's get this straight.
Time, but Cam got some connects.
He do, but he.
But it got to start somewhere.
I wouldn't want that more. I can't say. Let me not say that.
But I'm saying
I feel like you got a right to say that because. Oh, go ahead, man.
But I think that's why a lot of them are saying it. It's not your point of view. I understand, but I see their side too. They're saying the resources and the connections.
I think their point of view is somewhat shallow because I think what they're thinking is Primetime was a star. We have to replace him with a star to keep the train somewhat rolling. And if they know anything about football and how the inner workings of it, that's not how it works.
I agree.
So getting someone that's just a big name, because we're not saying Cam can't coach or nothing like that, but we are essentially looking for basically what people do. They're trying to hit the lotto. They're trying to hit the lotto again.
Yeah.
Dion was the lotto, and with Cam, you're trying to hit a smaller lotto, but a lotto nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's going to result in the same thing. Like we can't. If Cam Newton comes to Jackson, 5 years, it's the maximum I give him. None of these players that come, or none of these stars like that, they're not going to be here long term.
they have no reason to,
Right? They have no reason to.
unless their roots are here,
Right? They're from here. They understand HBCU football stuff. Like
or
that.
they really care about changing the aspect of HBCUs and HBCU
It
sports.
don't look like none of them at this point.
But you know, a lot of them don't even know though.
That's
This is
shame.
facts.
That's
agree. I
sad.
agree.
But I mean,
I agree.
when he went to all the people on ESPN were talking about, like, a lot of them didn't even know about HBU. Like, a lot of them didn't know.
And then it's so
and
many
it's like the
black
only
people.
reason they even talked about it because Prime was there. So they're like, well, let's look it up. And a lot of them was saying that they didn't even get recruited by HBCU school.
But
So-
they not. I see what John's saying when he like, why put your resources there when you don't feel like you got a chance? Because at the end of the day, like,
But I do feel Detroit point though, because
yeah,
it's like shooting your shot or being a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot your shot as many times. If you get one yes and 1,000 no's, you got that one yes.
Yeah.
So I do feel Detroit on his point.
I agree with his point because
Yeah.
and because you specified at least regionally.
Yeah,
Just
at least
motherfucking
regional.
just shit,
Like-
just go for
yeah.
it.
Like this
yeah.
corridor of state, like you said, Tennessee, Louisiana, parts of Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, just that little corridor. I mean, I'm not saying they got to go up to Michigan.
But you should, because
Yeah, I mean,
if
you
it's
can,
something
you can.
you when you get to like Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, another one, you have it's plenty of students at Jackson
Yeah,
State
I
from
agree,
these
I
places.
And I just thought about another thing.
I agree with you 100%.
Sometimes these 3, 4, and 5-star recruits, sometimes they get in trouble. And if you was one of them schools that reached out to them and they chose another school, but they get in trouble, they can't play.
They come.
They gonna come
That's
here.
what JUCO is.
Isn't that how Casey got her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But how about this? How about in
And Jones. Well, I mean, what was the quarterback before
Jalen
Shador?
Jones,
Jalen
yeah.
Jones.
the Kim Dichie? How he got to Ole Miss? His brother played.
Yeah.
His brother wasn't a 5-star,
Not even close.
but their relationship was built from you going to Georgia to get his brother.
True.
So who's to say I don't go? We gonna go back to Detroit. Somebody he a 2-star, but the little brother cold as hell. He a 4-star.
He a poster.
He want to come play with his brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's how
Like,
it usually kind of happen.
Yeah, because
So-
I wanted to go play with
Yeah.
Josh when he was at KWC.
yeah. So you know,
I think so. The problem is, I
But
think
you were
they
like a half a star.
Yeah,
So
I
that-
was. I
yeah,
was.
well,
I was like a half a star. I had work ethic.
we had
you had to
scour
walk
the
on.
internet for you.
No. Actually, I talked to the recruiter.
You was on the bench on the practice squad.
No, I wasn't that bad.
I was just bullshitting.
You finna say something, Josh?
Nah, I was gonna say. I mean, recruit JUCO players too.
Yeah, that's
That's another thing that bothered me
That's
about
it.
him. You recruiting all these JUCO players from Kansas. We got the #1 JUCO system in America.
East
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Come on, bro.
What Gulf Coast?
Come on,
Nah,
Gulf Coast,
East
East Mississippi.
Mississippi.
You can go to Hines. Darius Slayton went to Hines.
I mean, it's
Like,
some studs in JUCO.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Shavars Ward went to Hines.
But you know,
It's some studs.
I'm a slightly disagree, just slightly, because before them players go to JUCO, they may have a chance to go straight to Jackson State. But I'm not saying
I
y'all,
get what
y'all
you're
wrong.
saying. Yeah, I get what
if
you're
you
saying.
can get them to Jackson State before they go to JUCO, you get a clear shot at them instead of competing with the other colleges for them.
Yeah, Antonio Brown if he would have had half the grades, he
Yeah.
would have been in Alcorn.
Yep.
Them motherfuckers probably whoop our ass with Antonio Brown.
Yep. Yep.
Like real talk.
Yep.
Like I agree with you, man. You gotta shoot your shot, but
So I got a question.
Because I want to apply for plenty of jobs I know I wouldn't qualify for.
Yeah,
That's what you gotta do though.
you gotta take a chance.
but see, I don't even do that.
Shit.
I mean, how you don't know if you don't never shoot your
How
shot?
you know what they need? They might just look up like, dang, yeah, y'all, he might not fit what we need, but let's give him a shot. Let's give him an interview. And you killing, you get.
Yo, I can't disagree with what you say.
Yeah.
Just get your foot in the door. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
Because whatever you supposed to know before you get there, they gonna teach
They
you how
gonna
to
teach
do
you
it
anyway. Right? They ain't like they ain't gonna train you.
You gonna be a rocket science, James.
What's y'all thoughts on? I might be deviating, but this is going back to Jackson State football because you mentioned the transfer portal. Because I have a theory.
Oh,
The transfer portal, the team, Dion always said he always lived from the transfer portal, not high school recruits. So what's y'all thoughts on the transfer portal and how it can benefit FCS period?
All right.
Because I personally think it's not as much of a benefit to the FCS of the FCS as it is the FBS, because if you look at it through history, we've always kind of had a transfer portal because when you transfer down, you have always been able to play immediately.
True.
You haven't had
Yep.
to sit out. So it don't do as much for the FCS as it do the FBS.
I agree.
So, going back to the crumbs he left, it made me think like this nigga selling some bullshit. That was one of them. Like you didn't build from high school. And we know the transfer portal is taken away from the high school graduates getting scholarship offers, but that should benefit the FCS more than anybody because some of these players that would have got them offers, now that they going to the transfer portal and they transferring up. So now as a FCS school, I'm looking like
both
Birdman hand rub.
But it's benefiting high school and that because the talent is getting
too.
the talent getting spread though. The talent getting spread.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not necessarily hurting. I think it's more helping.
Helping the FCS?
Yeah, helping everything.
No, I don't think it's hurting, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as somebody
I
like
see what you're
Prime
saying.
makes it out to be. Like
I see what you're saying.
it's always been there for.
I mean, it might. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I mean, I think he's probably more on just talking about it more, trying like
because when you look up and down the roster, and I just look at the recruiting classes that he had, and number one for people, he hasn't been here 3 years. He got his introductory
2020.
press conference was September 21st, 2020. So we looking at two and some change.
2.5.
And that change ain't even a dime.
Some little
it's a
change.
nickel. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, yeah. But and man, there's so many layers to this. If COVID doesn't strike, does he even get the job? Because Hendricks was still under contract till December 2020. True. Which means he had to coach the 2020 season if COVID doesn't strike. So if he have a decent season, does Prime?
Yeah, you right.
Yeah, but both sides still benefited though. Right?
I won't deny that Jackson State benefited in the short term, but now what was the plan for on Jackson State part? What was the plan?
Well, we don't know.
Where do you go from here?
So let me ask you this:
the AD job,
yeah,
and the president.
Right. So let me ask you this: what's the difference from Jackson State going forward and another program? Let's say Oklahoma. We know Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma. What's the difference from Oklahoma going forward without Lincoln Riley and Jackson State going forward without Brian?
Because the boosters gonna come out the pocket. If Venables don't figure that shit out next year, he gone. And they coming out the motherfucking pocket. Kiffin, watch shit like that for Kiffin. And something about them schools like that. Lincoln Riley, I can't remember if he was a hot name before he got the Oklahoma job. But he might have been a coordinator.
He was a coordinator.
He was a coordinator, yeah. Guys like Joe Brady, like that, some by schools like that, they got the pockets and they're not afraid to take chances. We just took the chance on Prime, but we took the chance on an established person. We're not taking the chance on an unestablished and being like, I guess people back in the day that would call it cutting edge.
Yeah.
And for what we did, it was cutting edge. But to answer your question, what's the difference is their boosters are going to get them motherfuckers out, and no matter who the name is that you hire at certain colleges, the name will not overshadow the program. It won't.
All right. So I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, let me follow up with 2 points. Let's start with the boosters. 'Cause
Okay.
that's a significant point. Supporters, booster club members, alumni. You know, we do need to do a better job in investing in Jackson State.
Yeah.
You know, we can't. I'm not saying we're gonna be the same as Oklahoma or the Ole Misses and Mississippi States of the world, but we could be respectable in terms of our investment towards Jackson State and the influence. Most importantly, the influence. Second thing is sometimes HBCUs probably should take a chance on people that's not established. I'll only say that because a lot of times they recycle coaches.
Agreed.
Right. So it be the same coaches that come from Valley or from
Prairie View
or Alabama A&M. Like it's the same. Like they just been through the system.
Yeah.
So we'll go and reach out and hire them instead of giving. Let's just name a high. What's
the head coach at a high school in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Who, instead of giving that job to Dooley from Prairie View, go give it to him.
Right.
Because you coming from a hotbed for high school talent and you don't know what this man could do. So
that's
let's
exactly
just throw it out there.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And you give them a chance. Like especially, I will prefer if it's a younger black male, per se, me personally, just because it is a HBCU, but I don't want to just limit it. But for me, sometimes if he's in his mid 30s and he has a successful program, especially at the high school level,
just chuck it.
Give him a chance.
Like
The worst that could happen is you lose and he's gone in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But we cannot continue to stay in that cycle of.
And you probably got to pay him as much.
You don't.
Finna say that.
You don't gotta pay him as much. So you're looking at 2 potential benefits that you can do, and that could go a long
And if
way.
you hit.
Right.
Like, it's
you
one
talking
of them
about
things.
You talking about hitting at home run for years, not prime level. We talking about 4, 5, 6 year coaches
because he got the foundation,
right?
Because he know he has to,
yeah.
Because he can't
just
afford to
he ain't
do this.
Right?
Shit.
He ain't Dion. He know he has to continue to put the work in before he gets seen.
I think that
elsewhere.
if TC get the job, he needs to do that with this staff.
In my opinion, TC is the best candidate Jackson State can hire. There's no other candidate I can think of off the top of my head better than TC.
It should just be a handoff. I wouldn't even interview nobody.
No, they're not gonna do that.
No, they still gonna interview people, but it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. It should just be.
It should be
coaches. Programs all the time do
head
hires,
coach and waiting.
Right? Do head coach like Jimbo Fisher, like I just brought up, and they gonna go through the process of bringing people in, but they really know who they want to hire anyway. Hey, it's a whole NFL court case going on with Brian Flores right now.
They know who they want.
I said that about, but I said this when Deion first got the job. That once he left, TC Taylor should have it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not even close.
Once he left, now I'm gonna be honest. I thought Deion would leave next year, not this year.
Yeah.
The way he got,
I thought
talking about the HBC, I really thought it
was gonna be after his son left.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be his son.
But next year should do was eligible before the draft.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted. Well, the way how he talked, I thought like he wanted like somebody from Jackson State to be a 2nd round pick, like his son.
Yeah.
Or somebody on defense. You know what I'm saying?
So let's get into Shador.
Let's get into Shador.
All right. So as far as what his ranking,
just what do you think of him as a player? Period. Is he overrated, underrated, rated correctly?
When you say rated correctly,
what's his rank?
Are we talking about for FCS ranking? Or are we talking about
some
FBS
bullshit.
ranking?
So I'm listening to Jay Walker. This is the Jackson State. This might have been homecoming, y'all. And no, it was the college game. It was Jackson State Southern, the first game, the 35-0 game. I gotta throw that shit in there because they didn't score a motherfucking point. But and he was like, Shador is the most exciting quarterback in the SWAC since Bruce Eugene. You hold your breath every play to see what he's gonna do next. And I'm just thinking, what fucking game are you watching?
you talking about the one from Grambling?
Yeah, Bruce Eugene. Bruce Eugene was his weight helped him. Cause he was a big motherfucker. He was slanging that bitch.
Though.
Yeah, it did.
Oh wait! Didn't the Glass from A&M just get drafted?
Nigga, Glass. Let's not forget Casey.
Casey, yeah, you're right.
Let's not forget Devontae Kincaid.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Robert Kent, our own Robert Kent.
Yeah.
Shador, over fucking rated. I'm gonna put it out there.
That's a clip.
He struggled. If you look at certain games, he struggled. Let me say this. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a better pro than college player. Meaning this, if when he develops, you put him on the San Francisco 49ers right now as constructed, he'd be the perfect nigga. Because he's not going to lose the game.
You can't lose the game.
I mean, it's hard.
You can, but you can't.
He's not going to lose
with the defense and the running
game. It's hard.
This is what I'm trying to say. He was not the driving force behind neither one of these teams since he's been here.
I think it was the defense.
It was always the defense. And this year, you could argue the running game was more of a driving force than him. Because Savion Wilkerson is a grown man.
Yeah, but 37-8, that's pretty nice.
The numbers, but if I've been in the system since I was little, because I come up playing under my daddy, I see if I'm a pro coach, I'm pro scout, I look at that. Like, you've been under the same coach. You've been cuddled by your daddy your whole life.
Is that a knock, though?
But that's not a bad thing, though.
Yes, when you get to be a professional, yo.
But the only problem is, I don't think Prime really coaches like X's and O's. I think he's more of a I can motivate and get the guys ready.
Yeah. I agree.
X's and O's. I don't think that's really.
But when you in the same system though, for all them years.
Yeah, but oh wait, I don't think he brought the same.
But you in the same. But you got your daddy, your head coach through all your life.
You know he gonna highlight you.
Who?
I'm saying your daddy.
Yeah.
It's just certain shit that you know is a given, and then who your daddy is, just on top of being your daddy.
But that's a good thing because the resources. Think about our season. You a quarterback and you can be trained up
with Tom Brady. Yeah, that's why I think when you talk about them numbers, I don't put much into that.
I mean, but with that being said, a lot of great coaches follow that same. A lot of great quarterbacks have raised
one.
Okay, Archie Manning. Raised
we all know that.
And Eli.
We all know that. Right. Name another one.
So you got what's his name's son is terrible. Josh McCown's son terrible.
Dion just gave him the boot.
Yeah. He terrible.
Name one. I'm waiting.
I'm trying to
Brady? No. Breeze?
But none of them got kids.
They ain't even got kids. Old enough to be
them. Not just their kids. Them.
I don't know.
Peyton Manning is the kid.
I don't know much about the parents of Brady and Breeze.
Exactly. You're not gonna see it.
You right.
Well, but they also got put in a good system too, though, James.
I agree.
Because Tom Brady was a 5th-round pick from Michigan,
but it wasn't their daddy, and that leads me to my second point about how I knew he was gonna shuck and jive us. 2021 SWAC, what they call it, Media Day. Your son, a true freshman. You take him to SWAC Media Day? A true freshman? I would dare you to go find a true freshman going to SWAC Media Day of any major program.
So I got a rebuttal.
But I don't think that's bad.
Wasn't he a 4-star recruit?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
So in HBCU Media Day, a 4-star recruit is probably going to be playing. It might be different in the FBS, but at the HBCU level,
that's a point. But there's also a point that goes back to shucking and jiving us. You knew you can get away with it here.
Yeah.
You wasn't going to get at Colorado. Now he can do it because his son is them numbers.
Yeah.
He could point to that shit and be like, 37-8, motherfucker. I'm bringing my quarterback with me.
Question.
I think he can do it because the programs suck.
I got a question.
I think he can do it because he Dion.
Do you think all this was calculated for? This is my theory. Yeah, I just thought of it. Let's go to this HBCU. The talent not gonna be as prominent as it is in the big schools. Show you go there, show out. Your numbers gonna be good. Then we can move up and go from there. Like, do you think it was like a big scheme and Jack State just so happened to be a domino?
Yes and no. No, because I don't think he said exactly that. But I do think the Jackson State job offered him a certain level of control that he knew he could, not dominoes, but he knew he could move the chess pieces on the board how he wanted to. They gave him control and freedom.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't going at a PWI. Let's just say a Power 5 school. I won't say PWI. At a Power 5 school, he was not going to get that.
Okay.
It just wasn't going to happen. And that is partially what I think he going to miss about being in Jackson State.
But
agree to.
I disagree, Josh.
I think Colorado gonna give him the same thing.
As long as he's winning.
But it's the same thing with us. If he was losing,
but we gave it to him from day one.
Yeah, because
without having proved nothing. They a bottom
he's
feeder
prime
too.
Time though. He's it's different. Like you're not finna tell a guy that's worth $40 million.
Let me ask you a question.
Like,
Texas been down. Let's say Texas take that chance on Deion to get him that job from Trinity Prep, and he for as much of a Florida nigga as he is, he spent a lot of his time in Texas.
I think he would stay longer.
He would have been a lifer at Texas. Come on, Texas. What can you go up? You can't go up from Texas unless you're going to the NFL. But do you think Texas give him that freedom?
Yeah.
I do. No.
Yes.
Hell no.
I disagree.
I agree with James.
Hell no.
And I feel like that's
University of Texas or Texas Southern.
Texas, University of Texas, long.
Oh no.
Bevo.
But a lot of people,
Texas Southern. I'm sorry.
Texas A&M ain't giving him that.
a lot of people really thought that's one of the reasons why he chose Colorado, because they are a bottom program, and you can go in there with some leverage as opposed to a Auburn or what was the other school he was interested in? Well, they was interested in him.
South Florida.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he ain't go South Florida. It's not a Power 5.
But I mean,
They suck with it.
but that's no difference from other coaches. Lane Kiffin got all the power when he was at FIU.
Yeah, he did.
You can do it at them group of 5 schools.
Yeah, because they don't have a culture of winning.
But let's be real too. Kiffin, go to my point about Deion. Kiffin, you know who his dad is, right?
Money.
Shit. Recognize now. That's nepotism.
I agree.
But Kiffin had already been a head coach too. Let's just be honest.
He will.
Even though people could talk all the shit they want to about Lane Kiffin, he ain't never been sorry nowhere.
No, he
ain't sorry.
No. I mean, that's only
He
obviously got some.
He makes crazy decisions.
Right.
But he's
never been sorry.
He never been.
Yeah, he definitely
I agree
coached.
with that.
Especially offense. He definitely coach offense.
So
I want this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you good.
I want what you got right now in Michigan with your boy. The motherfuckers want to put him out. I bet them motherfuckers happy now.
They made him take a pay cut. Back in 2020, it's like, hey, take this pay cut or you gone, because you can't keep losing
for the
to that team that plays in Columbus.
And what he done did the last 2 years.
He won.
He done dropped it nuts. Not one, nigga.
Michigan, though, that program is totally different from other programs, too.
Why you say that?
Because you take Michigan out of Big Ten, it's not a Big Ten.
Oh, agreed.
Right.
You
so
just out the swag, it ain't the sweat.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but getting prime time, you don't have that. You still got to give them leverage.
What I'm saying is it's time to go back to the.
But you can't.
Michigan is home for Harbaugh. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
Going back to the TC Taylor point.
But Harbaugh didn't really have leverage when he walked in the door. I mean, he walked.
Super Bowl, been to a Super Bowl?
But I'm talking about Deion type leverage.
Yeah,
Where he controls.
I mean, Deion is 1-on-1.
Them boosters,
yeah, but it's
them boosters, them ADs, they still
If Nick Saban retired and Deion go to Alabama, you think he gonna have?
Oh, it's certain schools you not. That's why I bought Texas.
But you not. I mean, you just not.
They don't give a damn who you are.
No,
I agree.
They don't.
So this is what I was gonna ask. To get back to the Jack State and Deion thing. Let's just say you're the university and you know for sure at the end of this season, Deion is leaving. Mm-hmm. What would you have done different if you had the power of the university? Like what I guess contingencies would you have put in place, or what you done different if you knew he was leaving after two and a nickel year?
Oh wow, shit, nothing they could do.
What I'm saying, because you got to think about it, he made a lot of changes.
It was nothing.
One of the things I would have done instead of canceling the Southern Heritage Classic, I probably would have made
him leverages.
Yeah, I would have changed how the money and stuff was split as opposed to just going away with it.
Yeah,
because it's something.
But the reason for him canceling it was a valid reason.
No, you're right. That's why I said if I would have knew he was leaving. It's more than one way to fix a problem. Either cancel it or fix it. That's the thing. Either buy a new one, or cancel it, or fix it. So if the money wasn't right, what I probably would have took steps into making it right as opposed to getting rid of it. I would have at least tried if I knew he was leaving, because
I got you.
He gone, and that's one of the games because you gotta think about it. Fans don't know about the logistics of money and all that thing.
I agree.
So with that being gone, the fans are like, well, that's a game I look forward to every year at the beginning of September.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's gone. But Dion gone too, and like we now they playing who?
And,
UAPB.
UAPB. He could have leveraged it to me. Just how he talked. Like instead of saying the money ain't right, he could have just said we need to get the business right. Because keep in mind we still had a year or two left on the contract. But he could have just been like, that's the perfect game for me for him to leverage himself and Eddie George on prime time. We got Heisman Trophy winning Eddie George. Look, y'all get this business right.
Yeah,
You're right.
This one, the marquee. It's only 3 classic games you can argue over them, and possibly maybe even 2. The Bayou Classic, of course, and the Magic City Classic. Both of those games are between in-state schools. 2 in-state schools. This is the perfect meeting point in the middle.
You don't want to put Capital City Classic in there?
Alcorn don't. Fuck them niggas.
Honestly, I hate that we have to go down there.
Yeah, it's a motherfucker. It's the roughest, it's the toughest road game in the swag.
Because it's just...
It's an inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience. It is, but I love it though. That's what swag football all about.
We used to be an inconvenience.
Yeah, that's what it's about. But that's a perfect game though. Like Jackson State, Tennessee State, because like when you look at the history of the 2 programs, you know about Merritt going to Tennessee State. That was our coach at one point. You know about W.C. Gordon. He went to Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, because of Eddie Robinson, God bless the dead, they think that Grambling sent the most players to the pros over HBCUs. It's Tennessee State. So it's like they got Hall of Famers. Like it's just such a perfect game and such a perfect place for HBCU football. It's such a perfect time of year. Like, how y'all drop that ball? UAPB?
That big gonna have 10,000 folks.
Man.
Are they playing in Memphis as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to this, you can't. If you take Jackson State, Tennessee State, say we gonna do a home and away or a home and home. I don't think it hit the same. That was the perfect classic game, and they fucked it up.
Well, I will say this. I feel like we are looking at from a fan perspective of how the game is.
It's more fans than it is.
Yeah, I agree. But the point Dion was making is that we're spending way more money to go up there and play. But I don't disagree with what you're saying about it being a perfect game or trying to fix the game.
Leverage
I agree with that.
Leverage yourself. You an egotistical maniac. Leverage.
Figure out way.
Y'all got prime time here, baby. Right. Y'all ain't gonna. You got Eddie George. He won the Heisman. Y'all ain't gonna. Let's get this business right.
So I agree with that part.
So they should have sold it more.
Yeah, but the nigga from Florida, you see, we playing FAMU in Miami. Why the fuck we going to Miami? We passing Tallahassee to go to Miami. Man, get the hell out of here, man. This nigga a con artist, man. And fuck you too, Junior.
That's a fucking clip.
Man, don't make that no clip.
What? Boy, I'll be doing Giants an injustice if I didn't make that a clip.
He really would. I'm sipping on this brown liquor with my brown skin. Go get you some vodka, nigga.
Shout out to some. What this is again?
Curveball, cause that's what Dia threw us a fucking curveball barbecue whiskey. Y'all need to go try that and watch the review on Tap Your Reviews.
He threw us a curveball. All we hit was a double. Huh?
Hey, you think you get some good barbecue in Colorado?
Nah, hell no.
But that shit gonna have raisins in their potato salad. Playing my theme music.
That motherfucker, when they gonna come out riding around downtown? Get the fuck out.
So I think he gonna ball out up there though.
I want to talk about that, but another thing I want to ask before we get to that, how do y'all feel about with Dion come with media, lights, attention, all these things.
Right.
Do you feel like I'm not gonna ask that question because that's kind of like guiding the question, but I'm gonna ask it more better. How do you feel that affects the people that did a lot for the program before Dion? So let's just say they say, Dion was great. This first time we went undefeated. Blase. He's the greatest Jackson State coach of all time. Because some people think that. Because he comes with media and his name is Prime Time. So how do y'all feel about that?
I don't quite know if I understand the question.
I'm pretty much saying so.
The people who can who.
So this my thought on it, and then you'll get what I'm saying. I feel like the presence of Dion and the success that he had, it deserves attention. And I also feel like in the process of it getting attention, the people outside looking in feel like Jackson State ain't never been shit. This is the greatest coach Jackson State ever had in Jackson State history, even though he only been here two and a nickel year. 2 and a nickel, we gonna coin that.
2 and a nickel.
And it's kind of making people either forget or not even think about what Jackson State was before Prime. Because
I got you.
So that's what I was asking.
I understand the question. I understand what you're saying now. The people the people that you're talking about are the ones that's never been to HBCU,
Facts.
or has never watched FCS games or HBCU games, because there's no way you gonna not know what Jackson State football is if you watch HBCUs, or if you've been to an HBCU.
Yeah.
Like, so prior to Dion, plenty of people have poured blood, sweat, and tears into HBCUs to make them what they are now. We have to remember the reason for HBCUs was because we could not get into the WPI or PWIs. I'm sorry, PWIs. That's the reason for HBCUs. So you got over 100 years of these teams playing against one another, competing, building up their programs, building up their schools, and then you got figureheads, like we mentioned several times during this podcast, of people who have went here, graduated, then went on to done great things as Hall of Famers, as doctors, lawyers, etc., across every discipline, in the world. So to those people, you need to really do some research and understand what HBCU is and how vast that history is and how rich it is of people and talent and the contributions they have made, not only to college sports, but to the world
Society.
in general.
So, and this is a question for James, and y'all can answer too, but I know his history goes deep with Jackson State. And please do this unbiased, because I know you don't fuck with Prime.
All right. I got you.
You don't disagree with that statement? That y'all fuck with Prime?
Oh, no, I don't fuck with him. I won't deny that at all.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah. That nigga named Dion. We call him nigga government. Nigga.
Mama named Dion, I'm calling Dion.
He lost his nickname.
He never had it with me.
You said it out of respect just because.
Yeah, I really would.
I disagree with you.
I don't call no nigga out his name.
I want to thank Dion. He did what he needed to do in my eyes. I don't got no ill will towards it. I understand how he left was bad, but it's what it is.
Where would you rank Dion amongst Jackson State head coaches history?
He'll probably be unbiasedly, and I'm finna be super unbiased. On my daddy grave, I'm finna be unbiased.
Oh yeah, he unbiased, y'all.
Super unbiased.
He the short amount of time works against him. Okay. What he accomplished works for him.
Okay.
But the time period in which he's coming works against him also. So probably fourth. Number one gonna be W.C. Gordon.
Okay. Why?
He's the winningest coach in Jackson State history. He probably had one of the most dominant eras of SWAC football ever, winning 8 out of 10 in the 80s. 28 straight SWAC wins. And I know this too because my brother played under W.C. Gordon. For people who gonna be like, what you know about it?
Number 2 is Comedy, huh?
No. Ooh, he might be 5.
Go ahead.
Unbiased?
He's gonna go over Comedy, but once again, time works against him.
Go ahead. Who your number 2?
Number 2 is Bob Hill.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know who Bob Hill is. Bob Hill is the person that was the Walter Payton, Jackie Slater, Robert Brazil. That was their head coach.
Okay.
He went to Jackson State also. And he coached only 5 years. A lot of people know he has the highest winning percentage in Jackson State history amongst head coaches. Number 3, James Big Daddy Carson. He was the defensive coordinator from, I want to say, 78 to 1991. He took over in 92 to 98. He's largely responsible for the 99 team. The 99 team, for people who don't know, had 4 players drafted in the 2000 draft, including 2 first-rounders, God bless the dead, Rashad Anderson, Sylvester Morris, Leroy Fields, and Eric Chandler. So T.C. Taylor came in under James Big Daddy Carson. I hear my parents all the time used to tell me stories of James Carson coming to our house to sign my brother. So he's another one. He went to Jackson State. 4, you could put Prime in 4.
Okay.
It's either him or Cummings.
And
No. I might have to go Merritt. Merritt is the 62 team undefeated black college national title, the first black college national title in Jackson State history. So it's between him and Prime in 4. So he's gonna be 4 or 5.
Okay.
Unbiased. Them top 3, it's too much history and legacy with those 3 to take them out.
Yeah. I feel that. And I feel like I'm definitely making that a clip. A lot of people don't know the rich history of Jackson State. They don't know the things you just said because half of the stuff, my fault, not half, 98% of the stuff I didn't know. And I went to Jackson State. But I hope that will educate people to know that, like, we true to this, we're not new to this.
Yeah.
Like, so
Is what it is.
And that's another bad look that him leaving, giving the city too, about the crime and
Water crisis.
yeah, like but you knew that before you came here. Our water been fucked up forever.
At least since '92.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It shouldn't be.
But that's out of Jackson State's control.
I agree, but it still shouldn't. We can't say, well, it's a problem, and then just like, well, since it's a problem, we're gonna leave it alone.
Nah, it's a problem, but at the same time, a lot of us black people wasn't the one on the picture with Cindy Hyde-Smith.
Hey, but I don't blame. Y'all gonna get on me for this. Y'all about to kill me for this.
I'm not.
But I don't blame Prime for saying, sometimes it takes a person to bring up an issue for people to start actually trying to solve the issue. Like our crime and stuff, and some of the issues that we deal with in Jackson. I think we can't make a difference in changing it. I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but we can start putting towards efforts and changing some of the things that we have in Jackson, some of the issues that we have. But go ahead.
Only reason I feel like it's some things are we can talk about it,
Yeah.
but some things are it goes so much deeper
Yeah,
than our control. Not saying it's out of our control, but it's deep. It's real deep because like I feel like any impoverished area, not just Jackson, but anywhere, crime stems from lack thereof and systemic racism that has trickled all the way up to where we at now.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so like
I agree
it's
with you.
no, it's just bigger than
I agree with you. But what I raised that point years ago. And this is the rebuttal I received. People used to tell me all the time, man, it's a lot of money in Jackson. It's a lot of people with money in Jackson. It's a lot of places in Jackson that's not impoverished or poor. I'm from Detroit. It's like a mini Detroit in the sense of the problems that they have is some of the same problems that was experienced in Detroit. But all I'm saying is you have to start somewhere solving the problem, and people calling out the problems, even if they do it in the wrong way. I agree. Deion did it in the wrong way. But if he still called it out for people to say, hey, that is a problem. We probably should start trying to do something about that. Like his office being broken into during the game.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like stuff like that, we can control everything. We can't control Mookie shooting Ray down the street, but we can control certain things like stopping cars from getting broken into during games. Stuff like that. Whether it was Jackson State, Jacksonians or not, we can do more. We have to do more in order to make Jackson a better place. You know, maybe if we are able to raise Jackson up like it can be, you know, we can keep these long term things that we got going on. We're not gonna ever keep a prime, but TC Taylor, we can keep a TC Taylor here for long periods and continue generating revenue. You know, Jackson could be a mini Atlanta. It could be a mini Dallas, you know, in terms of success and growth. But Jackson kind of stagnant in his growth because the people with the money don't really reinvest into it. The city council leaders don't really do anything to have effective change. So it's kind of in a time loop.
Yeah, so we probably finna go and close this thing out because we've been talking for a good little minute. I feel like we covered a lot of things. I remember you said you wanted to close out with something. What you want to say?
Oh, nothing. Just shout out. I shouted out Bamunda Jones and Michael Smith for just offering the whole perspective, not just one from a point of the other side, but one from a point of view.
And I guess that helps that they offer their perspective because it is on the national level.
Yeah.
People will see what we're saying, but from someone that's more, not necessarily credible, but someone that's more seen. Yeah.
That clip is on CNN. It's like a 10-minute clip from Behind the Jones. It's very good. People, y'all should go watch it. It's very good.
Yeah, I watched it.
But yeah, that's another episode of Uncork'D. We out this thing, y'all.
Talk my shit, got these niggas mad at me, tell 'em I'm built for this. Pop my shit, if a nigga mad, middle finger, I'm killing shit. Best of doing me, I'm the GOAT. They can't fuck with me, this I know. I be dropping bombs, bet I blow. Waiting on my fall, bet I don't.